In a story that has left the internet buzzing with questions and outrage, Chris Lewis, a 24-year-old father from Augusta, Georgia, has been arrested after allegedly leaving his 3 young children unattended at a McDonald's while he attended a nearby job interview. Authorities report that Lewis left his 1-year-old, 6-year-old, and 10-year-old children in the restaurant's indoor play area for nearly 2 hours. The children were unharmed but unsupervised when concerned onlookers called the police. The officers waited with the kids until their mother arrived to pick them up. Louis was subsequently arrested and charged with deprivation of a minor. At first glance, this story seems straightforward. A father makes a poor decision to leave his kids alone in public while pursuing employment. But here at The Donkey's Voice, we don't settle for surface-level narratives. This tale demands deeper investigation. Because when children are involved, the stakes are higher, and the truth matters more than ever. Let's start with what we know. Lewis reportedly walked with his 3 children from their apartment to McDonald's just before 4:30 p.m. Witnesses observed him leaving briefly before returning to check on the kids, and then leaving again for his interview. By 6:18 p.m., police confronted him upon his return to the restaurant. Sounds simple enough, right? A father makes a reckless decision and faces the consequences, but here's where things get murky. The mother arrived shortly after police intervened to pick up the children. If she was available to retrieve them so quickly, why wasn't she watching them during Louis' interview? This glaring omission raises questions about her role in this situation, and why the narrative focuses solely on Louis's actions. Let's address the elephant in the room. Why did Louis have all 3 children with him in the first place? A 1-year-old typically stays with their primary caregiver, usually the mother, unless there's some custody arrangement or special circumstance. If Louis had custody of all 3 kids at that moment, it suggests either they were living together or he was temporarily responsible for them. But here's where things don't add up. The mother was able to pick up the kids quickly after police intervened. If she was nearby enough to retrieve them, why weren't they in her care during Louis's interview? Was she working? Was she unavailable for legitimate reasons? Or, and this is where speculation comes into play, did she intentionally leave him in charge of all 3 kids knowing he had a job interview? Could this have been a setup? A deliberate move to sabotage his chances of gaining employment or improving his situation? It wouldn't be unheard of in toxic relationships for one partner to undermine the other's efforts to get ahead. We don't know, but we're demanding answers. Now let's talk about McDonald's, the venue of choice for this incident. Some might scoff at the idea of leaving children at a fast food restaurant, but let's consider it from another angle. McDonald's is a public place with cameras, employees, and other patrons. In Louis's mind, it might have seemed like a safer option than leaving them alone at home or forcing them to walk back with him after his interview. Still, this decision reeks of desperation rather than neglect. Anyone who has faced financial hardship knows that securing any job, even one at McDonald's, is often a lifeline rather than a luxury. For Louis, this wasn't just an interview, it was an attempt to survive and provide for his family. But why did he feel like there was no other choice? Why wasn't childcare an option? Why wasn't there someone else who could step in to help? These questions point to larger systemic issues that go beyond one father's decision-making. Here's what really stands out: the glaring absence of details about the mother's role in this situation. Reports mention her arrival to pick up the kids but fail to explain why she wasn't watching them in the first place. Was she working? Was she unavailable due to other obligations? Or was there something else going on behind the scenes? The lack of clarity raises red flags. If she was nearby enough to retrieve them quickly, why weren't they in her care during Louis's interview? Could it be that she refused to watch them or insisted he take them along for some reason, whether out of spite, control, or indifference? This isn't just about parenting, it's about power dynamics within families and how societal narratives are shaped. Why is Louis being painted as neglectful while the mother escapes scrutiny entirely? Let's zoom out for a moment and look at the bigger picture. The job market today is brutal, especially for young parents with limited resources and no stable work history. Louis doesn't own a car and reportedly walked with his kids from their apartment to McDonald's, a testament to his determination despite overwhelming odds. And yet, instead of acknowledging these challenges, society is quick to judge him for making what appears to be a desperate decision. Yes, leaving young children unattended is risky, But should we be focusing solely on his actions without addressing the systemic issues that led him here? Where are the discussions about affordable childcare? Where are the conversations about how hard it is for single parents or even co-parents to secure employment while juggling family responsibilities? These are questions that deserve answers. Let's not forget who truly matters here: the kids. They didn't ask for this situation. They were caught in the crossfire of adult decisions and systemic failures. Thankfully, they were unharmed during their time at McDonald's. But that doesn't erase the fact that their well-being was put at risk. Lewis's actions may have been questionable, but they weren't malicious. He wasn't trying to abandon his children. He was trying to create a better future for them under impossible circumstances. Imagine if McDonald's offered childcare services alongside their Happy Meals. Hire one parent, watch 3 kids. Absurd as it sounds, such an idea highlights how desperate parents can become when faced with limited options. Or picture this. What if fast food chains became hubs for parental survival strategies? A place where parents could drop off their kids safely while attending interviews or running errands. It sounds ridiculous, but reflects how broken our system truly is. The U.S. childcare system is often described as broken by experts like Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, who notes that it fails caregivers, parents, and children alike. The cost of childcare has roughly tripled since 1990, making it unaffordable for many families. This crisis is exacerbated by the closure of childcare centers and the departure of workers from the sector, partly due to the pandemic. Private equity firms have also been criticized for making the crisis worse by investing in high-end childcare centers that further price out low-income families. The lack of affordable childcare options forces parents into impossible situations like Lewis's, where they must choose between providing for their families and ensuring their children's safety. At its core, this story isn't just about one father leaving his kids at McDonald's. It's about survival in a society that often fails its most vulnerable members. It's about systemic problems that force parents into impossible situations and then punish them for making tough choices. So, we ask again, what really happened here? Was Louis truly neglectful? Or was he desperate? What role did the mother play in this situation? And why aren't we addressing the larger issues at hand? We don't have all the answers, but we're demanding them. Because when children are involved, nothing matters more than getting to the truth.